McComey here, and welcome to this week's edition of Travel Oregon's Grant's Getaways. Well, we've come to the open waters of Tillamook Bay, and we are on a mission. I've joined some good friends who are going to show us the tactics and techniques to catch giant king salmon. So join us right now.
If you're eager to catch a king, you must arrive at the Garibaldi boat docks while the moon holds on tonight. It's early for sure, but sleep can wait if you want to catch the best tide.
It's a perfect tide for fishing out along the jetty, a very small exchange. What those fish do is they smell that Tillamook outgoing water. Because the current and the velocity isn't very strong, they'll come in against that tide.
Fishing guide John Krothofer says it's been a long salmon fishing season. It started in July out on the ocean where the silver salmon bite was awesome. Then it slipped into high gear at places like Buoy 10 on the Columbia River. We joined John there in September, where a coho salmon boom was more than 1 million strong. Now, thousands of fish are migrating through estuaries like Tillamook Bay and swimming into their home rivers. I've joined John and longtime partner Bert Hansen along the Tillamook Jetty, where scores of anglers hope that high tide will serve up the biggest of all salmon called kings. We use plug-cut herring for bait on 6-foot leaders with 16 ounces of lead for weight. It carries it all down toward the bottom.
Put your thumb on the spool, reach over with the other hand, release that lever, and then just hold your pole low to the water and take your thumb clear off of it.
It doesn't take long.
Is that a coho? I don't know, I can't see it. Put some pressure on it. That ain't no coho. What do we got?
I don't know, it's big.
I don't think it's a coho.
I don't either, John.
Turn him.
Good guy.
Got him.
That'll work.
That's a nice little king. Isn't this better and more exciting than catching one in a lake? Now, are you doing that to the captain?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. I am just shaken from the adrenaline of this experience. It's unbelievable, but look at that fish. Oh, man.
Oh, that's a pretty fish.
Nice buck, just right out of the ocean. Just a beautiful fish.
They're big, they're strong, tough, and they're not always predictable. And they're really a challenge once you get a line hooked up on them.
It is also a challenge to fish here, where the swells and the waves and the tide can change conditions in a heartbeat. We sport PFDs at all times. John doesn't give you any choice. For him, your safety is personal.
These are self-inflating vests. We wear them all the time. It's mandatory in my boats. I had a friend drown here a few years ago. If he'd have had one on, he'd have been alive today. They're very comfortable. You don't even know you got them on, but yeah, especially down here.
We also keep watch here, not just on our rod tips or the water, but for a dreaded disease that can get you if you don't watch out.
You on your toes all the time out here?
All the time. All the time. Don't get that dreaded salmonitis disease. Somebody hooks a fish and all they're concentrating on is that fish. They're not paying attention to their surroundings at all. And you need to be aware of what's going on around you all the time, especially when you hook a fish.
It's a big king, John.
This is kind of a pleasure.
You don't get to do this a lot.
Well, no, the only time I ever get to do this is when you come down.
I like it.
It's a king.
I must be a lucky netter. Watch how this king nearly escapes twice.
How would you rate that net job?
Excellent. Now, whenever a fish ends up in the boat, in the net, it's an absolutely perfect net job. Now, if that fish would have been on the other side, swimming away, I'd go, yeah. But when the fish is in the boat, it was perfect.
That's good.
That fish is green. Look
Pretty
at that,
fish.
behind the gill plate there. That's all
Pretty
green
fish,
water.
isn't it?
Isn't that pretty?
As the tide turns, the fish bite builds, and anglers all around us have their chances with a king too. Fishery managers say more than 12,000 kings will be caught from Tillamook area waters, so special rules protect their numbers. You can only keep 1 king per day and 5 per season from Tillamook Bay or its 5 rivers. In addition, anglers can keep a hatchery coho salmon too. While Hansen enjoys the fishing,
Little hatchery coho.
he admits he has other reasons to go fishing for kings too.
The attraction to me, it really is the outdoors. Just watching nature around you. It creates lifetime memories.
Now, the coho fishery is going to come to an end shortly, but the king fishery here at Tillamook and other coastal streams will continue for several more weeks, maybe even a couple of months, something you can check out on the Travel Oregon website.
Now that we've shown you how to catch 20 pounds of king salmon, you may be wondering what to do with the catch. Check it out on this Outdoor Tip of the Week.
Hi, Debbie.
Well, hi, what you got there?
Oh, I've got something for you.
Folks come from all over to taste the flavor of salmon fresh from the sea and handled with lots of TLC by Debbie Downey at Debbie D's Smoked Meats in Tillamook. She's been filleting fish for nearly 30 years, so surely knows her way around the kings. Her best advice, start with the best fish.
We like fish to look like this. If you have fish that starts to look like newspaper, it's not going to look good.
Debbie prepares hundreds of pounds of salmon for smoking each week. Some fillets are soaked in a liquid teriyaki brine, while others are covered in a dry brine with brown sugar, salt, garlic, pepper, and pickling spice.
You don't have to rinse this or anything.
The fish is refrigerated for 24 hours and then into the smokehouse for 6.5 hours. Once it's done, vacuum packing will keep it up to a year in the freezer, but who in the world can wait that long?
Well, it's just the best. People come from all over the world here, all over the United States, to fish in this area for these fish, so there has to be something to it. It tastes like it's supposed to. Maybe that's it. It tastes like salmon.
You can learn more about smoking salmon and all of the Grant's Getaways on the Travel Oregon website. For Travel Oregon, I'm Grant McComey.